that's not so bad.
Let me present to you a name, a family name. It's called Englehardt. Are you familiar with it? Do you know anybody by that name? I don't. But sometimes I like to research names and just find out the background. The Englehardt family, it's Russian, but it also goes through German descent. It's a Baltic German noble and baronial family, as in they had barons and baronesses of the former Russian Empire. The family name is sometimes given as von Englehardt. Here's a quick little breakdown of the history of that family. The legendary founder of the Englehardt dynasty, Karl Bernhard von Englehardt, 1159 to 1230, served as a knight in the Third Crusade, which was launched to liberate the holy shit, that's a hard word. During that campaign, he is said to have received the surname Englehardt, meaning angelic strength, for saving the life of the French king Philip II Augustus in the siege of Acre. Acre? I don't know. The documented origins of the family lie in Switzerland. A guy named Henrik von Englehardt is mentioned in the years 1383 to 1390 as a citizen and counselor in Zurich. From him descended all the nobles and barons of the Englehardt family in the Russian Empire. So, storied history, quite a background. Unlike the Bleeps in America, us white people know our history and can trace it back thousands of years. I'd like to tell you about an American version of that family. Young woman, goes by the name Christine Englehardt. She's 24 years old. Here's a picture of her. Sweet girl. Here she is doing a love run, half marathon. Christine is an assistant manager at a thin crust pizza delivery company, and she is well loved in her community, as she is by her dog, and there is her dog. Here she is at Christmas. Here she is taking a selfie, I believe is what it's called. Halloween. Fresh-faced. Christine decided to go to Miami for spring break. Now, in case you don't know what's happening in Miami during spring break, Miami is largely black community, to an alarming degree, to a degree where you're going to have problems. Over 17%. Well, apparently it's gone down from 17% to 15.6%, but when I was there, it felt like 95%. A lot of blacks, a lot of fat blacks. That's the God's honest truth. But during spring break, a bunch of blacks from surrounding areas came down to Miami, and I don't know if you've been watching the news, they're chimping out. They're chimping out bad. And it's mayhem in the streets. It's embarrassing. It's disgraceful. It's violent. It's chaotic. It's counterproductive. It's lame. It's immoral. It's cringeworthy. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a complete fucking disaster. But we come to expect that from this population. Not all. Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, and 1,000 black dentists. Oh, hey.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm interrupting you.
No problem. Thank you, sweetie.
Maybe you want to eat some popcorn while I talk.
Thank you, sweetie. You okay? Thank you.
It's all going to be on your recording, and you're not editing anymore.
I will edit that out. Morgan Freeman, Denzel Washington, 1,000 black dentists. I see you. We're not talking about you. So give it a rest. We're talking about your brethren, my brothers, who are fucking up the program. And it's happening all the time. So first let's just look at a still shot. Here is some of the revelers, and there is a severely tattooed man, potentially Dennis Rodman, in the bottom left, taking pictures of some utter skanks, top of a car. Seems like some sort of dystopian future hellscape. Don't know what the fuck is going on here, but this is only a still shot. Oh, you want to see some live action? Here you go. Yeah, so we got a bunch of women, of indeterminate social class, and they're stomping each other, and they're just smacking each other's tits and beating on each other, ground and pound, slap fighting, petty shit, weaves everywhere, just clothes coming off, bras optional. I mean, just tacky shit. And my God, black people just taking pictures of it, honking, celebrating this. This is like normal, just absolutely normal. I mean, it's just, what more can I say? There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we have to deal with in America. A shining city on a hill. Right. But what does this buffoonery have to do with Christine Englehardt, the descendant of nobility from Russia and Germany, Switzerland? Well, like I said, Christine Englehardt went to Miami for spring break because she's young and wanted to have some fun. So she went out to a restaurant in Miami this week, and she ran into these two guys right here. This guy right here, you can't see it, but he has a neck tattoo, which is, and I'm not kidding you, 3 pictures of himself at various angles. he got that tattooed on his neck. He's 24 years old. And then his friend over here, he's 21 years old. And they're out there, I guess, I don't know what they're up to. Looking for fun, looking to bone is actually more accurate. Their names, I'll start with the normal one first. The guy with the neck tattoos is Dorian Taylor. Oh, maybe it's like Dorian Gray, but instead of having a picture of himself in the attic, he just tatted it on his neck. And then the other guy, check this name, check it.
Devin, check this. Goes by the name Evoir Collier.
Evoir. That, it's borderline child abuse. Okay, Evoir. So, they met up with Christine Englehardt at a restaurant, and they tried to flirt it up with her. They were interested in her sexually. Now, the problem is, Christine is from Pennsylvania. She's not unaware of the threat that some black people present. She's aware of the realities of life. In fact, in a recent post on her Facebook page, she wrote the following. This is a PSA to anyone going to the Tyler State Park. She said, last week I was running past the Tyler Arts Center building and I saw in the parking lot a car with a white t-shirt hanging out the driver's side window. As I was running past him, the car started beeping at me and the driver waved his hand out the window. I assumed he was broken down and needed help, but my gut feeling was telling me something wasn't right. So I kept running and didn't stop. Today, around 1 p.m., I ran past the same area and there was the same car with the same t-shirt hanging out. My heart started racing. As I ran past him, he beeped again and waved for my attention. I immediately knew that this was some kind of predator scheme. I waited until I wasn't in his sight to stop to call 911. Luckily, park workers were driving by and I stopped them and told them to get the park ranger to investigate, for this was now the second time the same man was doing this. They dispatched the ranger immediately and thanked me for alerting them. So if you ever feel unsafe in any way or have a feeling something isn't right, don't hesitate to notify the police. Always go with your gut. Please be on alert for any suspicious people or cars. This is a dangerous world now, unfortunately, and you never know what anyone's true intentions are. So Christine is not naive to the fact that there are threats in this world. People do have bad intentions. People are willing to commit crimes. And in the comments of that Facebook post, a friend of hers, Katie White, said, "Way to stay sexy and not get murdered." So that's a catchphrase for a popular podcast about true crime called My Favorite Murder. And they say at the end of every show, stay sexy and don't get murdered. Because a lot of women want to be sexy, they want to be beautiful, they want to be desired, but also they're aware that there's psychos out there. And so the thing about Christine Englehardt is that she knows she's a young, attractive woman, and that makes her a target. So she knew this coming into Miami, and when she met up with Dorian and Evoir, I'm fairly confident that her spidey senses were tingling as to the threat that they posed. Having said that, it didn't matter, because Dorian and Evoir drugged her at the restaurant. They then escorted her back to her hotel, where we have surveillance footage of them coming into the hotel, with her not even being able to stand. She was being dragged and held up, propped up, like it was Weekend at Bernie's. They took her into the hotel room. They then proceeded to rape her, both men. At some point after that rape, or before, we don't know, she died. The cause of death is being investigated. It wasn't a bullet wound. It was something she had ingested. Now, a healthy, young, marathon-running 24-year-old doesn't just die, so they're investigating whether or not the drugs that were given to her, which they said was Percocet, which I believe is a painkiller. I don't know how many they gave her. I don't know if they gave her other stuff. We're going to find out, and there's a hearing in 3 weeks. They raped her, both of them. That was their intention the whole time. Then she died. She was lying on the bed half naked when cops found her. But before that happened, these two men, Dorian and Evoir, even though they had just raped her, they could see she was in medical distress. She was not responsive at all. And so they did the right thing. And to their credit, they called for an ambulance. I'm kidding, of course. They didn't call for an ambulance. They robbed her. They robbed her of her credit cards, her money, her cell phone, and then they took off. Now, where did they go? Well, they went out and bought stuff with her credit card. So Christine Englehardt is dead. Now, these two men have been caught. Obviously. They were caught for a variety of reasons, which I'd like to go into, and this really speaks to the depressing yet stark realization that the people I'm talking about are profoundly stupid, and I'm talking about their IQ is that of a retard. Let's say they wanted to rape a chick. Was there any consideration as to self-preservation? So I'm putting aside right now, which is just as a thought experiment, the moral abomination of what they did, which is to kill a woman, rape a woman and then kill her, drug a woman. I mean, all of these things are heinous behaviors, all worthy of severe punishment. But okay, put that aside. What was their plan in terms of getting away with this? Were they aware that there was security footage at that hotel? Here's what happened. Cops get called. They go, okay, who was in this room? Christine Englehardt. Okay, let's call her next of kin. Let's research that. Do you have footage of who she came in here with? Maybe this wasn't a suicide. She seems like she's just been raped. So they go, yep, we got footage. Okay, here's the footage. There's a man with a neck tattoo, one of a kind. He's the only person on the planet stupid enough to get that tattoo on his neck. Well, now they have a visual of them. They know who they're looking for. But as if that wasn't enough, they took her cell phone. You can track a cell phone. They can find you what was the plan there? They're going to sell that cell phone, a locked iPhone, for spare parts? How much money do you think you're going to get for that? And what is the risk? The risk is you're going to get caught. And then you go out and buy stuff with her credit cards? First of all, how is that working? Some black dude using a card that says Christine Englehardt? Whatever. I mean, there's cameras all over this place. And every time you ping that card, you're digging a ditch for yourself. These people got caught and now they're going to jail. Or they're in jail without bail and the judge is pissed. Now, it's not yet been determined if they're going to go down for manslaughter. They got them on rape and they got them on robbery. And even if you can't prove, premeditation, but also, let's say the drugs are not directly linked to her death. Something killed her. And if she died while they're committing a felony against her, they're not off the hook for that at all. So they're going to try to squirm out of this. It's going to be unbelievable. Let's watch the news report. You should be aware of this. Oh yeah, and by the way, these are two black men killing a white woman. Say her name, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Tamir Rice. How about Christine Englehardt?
Miami Beach police making two arrests after they say a tourist was raped by two men at a South Beach hotel.
Investigators say the victim was drugged and died during the assault. Local 10's Christian De La Rosa is live with more. Christian.
Calvin Nicole, this is the hotel where police say that woman was found dead. 21-year-old Avery Collier and 24-year-old Darian Taylor are the two men charged with drugging, robbing, and raping a woman on South Beach. Investigators say the 24-year-old victim from Pennsylvania was found partly nude and lifeless inside her room at the Albion Hotel on James Avenue Thursday.
Couldn't even pick up a phone to call the police or 911 after they did whatever they did to her.
Yeah, and didn't even mention it to the front desk, nothing. They just completely did not care. Total disregard for her life. They fucked her and killed her, and that was it. And then they robbed her. How despicable are these human beings? And I throw that up with air quotes. And people wonder, why was there lynching back in the day? Well, things were a little bit less organized back then. It was a little bit more do-it-yourself as the community. That was the vibe in old America. And if these people aren't punished, then someone should punish them. As in, justice needs to be had. Because you march in there, drug, rape, and murder an innocent white woman, and we're supposed to what? You want us to bitch about slavery now? You want to talk about that shit? No, these guys need to be punished. Life in prison or death. That's what I say. Oh my God. Here's a little piece of the article. Check this out. During the bond hearing, Collier's sister pleaded with the judge, saying he has never been in trouble before. Oh, really? Yeah, this is only his first raping and killing. His sister said, I'm severely bewildered by these charges and accusations against him, but I can attest for his character, and I can attest for the responsibility of him standing trial for whatever charges. Huh? He was arrested. He got thrust into that trial. He had no part in this. He was forced to do that. He's within our possession. He's detained. So the sister who wasn't there, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Speaking about his character? You're a character witness for this murderer rapist? He admits to the rape. Oh, I'm sure they're going to say it's consensual. That's the final cherry on top, is they'll say it was consensual after they drugged this woman who was completely incoherent, both raping her and then leaving her to die. If you please let my brother come home and let our family handle the situation appropriately. Let your family? Oh, we're going to ground him? Fucking unbelievable. That woman is delusional. We will do whatever is necessary that Miami-Dade County asks of us. Well, here's what we ask of you. He's never coming home. You'll never see him again. The closest you'll get to him is putting your hand up to a glass window and having him do the same, like a black version of E.T. Phone Home. A Miami Beach detective testified during the bond hearing that Collier said he believed a green pill given to Christine Englehardt was the pain reliever Percocet. Well, I'm not sure Percocet kills, so I guess we'll kick the tires on that story. Au revoir. A detective down there said the defendant was holding her from behind, holding her by the neck so she could stand. That's what they saw in the surveillance footage.
The initial entry, I don't know if that
It
was.
seems to be voluntary, but I can't.
Your Honor, from what I understand, what was disclosed to me by the detectives at this time, they're still, the toxicology is still pending, so we're not sure what the content of that drug is. But with respect to the victim's inability to consent, apparently it's depicted from the surveillance video. Again, I have not reviewed it. This is coming from the lead detective on this case, that the victim was in no condition, even upon entering the hotel room. She was clearly inebriated, under the influence of something, as was depicted via surveillance cameras leading into the hotel, together with the two defendants in this case. And his position was, of course, with a Berg bat, it can be the entry or remaining therein, Judge. It can be charged two ways.
The co-defendant on this case was that they had sex with her multiple times. And once she was unconscious or out, they remained inside the unit, did not call for assistance or help, and began to take all her items.
Miami Beach police officers say the two men met their victim at a restaurant, gave her a pill, and went to her hotel.
They had sex with her multiple times. And once she was unconscious or out, they remained inside the unit, did not call for assistance or help, and began to take all her items, cell phone, credit cards, and cash.
So, sir, I'm holding you no bond. I'm not setting a bond. He's being held no bond. It's a very serious charge. He battered a helpless victim.
Our heart bleeds, and our prayers go out to the family that had to be informed, that they lost a loved one. That if there's any type of connection between, that situation and her death, that we go ahead and we support a full prosecution of the law.
Miami Beach Police Chief right there reacting to what happened. His detectives say that at least one of the two men arrested was also recorded on several surveillance video cameras from nearby businesses using the victim's credit cards to purchase items. The medical examiner's office is still waiting to confirm, or working to confirm, the exact cause of death. If it is determined that this woman died of an overdose that could affect the charges faced by these two men, they could end up facing charges for manslaughter.
Wait a minute, why did he just say manslaughter like it was the worst word ever? The word isn't the problem. The charge isn't the problem. It's the fact that a woman was slaughtered. She's dead, and they did it. I mean, you think this is a coincidence? You think she just had a cardiac arrest? So we will follow up on this because, hey, Bleeps, you came down to Miami, you thought you were going to get cute, you drug a woman, you raped a chick, she's now dead. Oops, your life's over. Oh, and by the way, you raped and killed a white woman. So welcome to America, motherfuckers. You're going to bed, either a dirt nap or we're going to put you in a box for the rest of your stupid lives. And wait a minute, who's going to back me up on this? Anyone else outraged that this isn't a big story? Oh, you're not going to stick up for Christine Englehardt? You don't care about the pain for that family? There's no GoFundMe? You think the Englehardt family is going to get $27 million? Is Anita Sarkeesian going to speak out on this? It was a rape. I mean, aren't you feminists against rape? Hey, what about all the anti-racist people? Well, you got blacks raping a white. Sounds kind of racist. You going to speak up on that? Anyone else? Anyone else feel uncomfortable talking about this story? You want to bring it up at your next family dinner? Oh, Uncle Devin's going to bring it up. Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about it till the cows come home, or until we fry these fuckers. Because payback is a bitch, and if no one else is going to stand up for Christine Englehardt, you know I fucking will.
I've been trying not to go off the deep end. I don't think you want to give me a reason. I've been trying not to go off the deep end. I don't think you want to give me. I've been trying not to go off the deep end. I don't think you want to give me a reason. I've been trying not to go off the deep end. I don't think you want to give me.
They most definitely getting the death penalty. They said they shipping these boys to prison overnight like an Amazon Prime. overnight. No, same day. They going to super jail. No, super deluxe jail. And they said, someone said in Florida too, zap zap. The fact that we all know what's about to happen to them just because ... They talking about because they black, but black, white, purple, you was wrong. You shouldn't have did that to that girl. That's what? And walked around with her credit card. Dummy. That's the dumbest thing. And when the police caught them with her phone. You gone. Someone said he looked scared as hell. Look at him. You wasn't scared when you was doing what you was doing to that girl. So you better take this like a grown man, because you thought you was grown. A lifeless body, that is so weird to me. What is the pleasure out of that? Y'all weird. They're very weird. So weird. They said judge pulling up to court like this. They gonna lock their ass up and throw away the key. And then some people were saying how the conservative people, they're gonna eat this one up. They just waiting to be like, ah, that's all black people, and they ain't gonna ever let this one rest, and they gonna like basically stereotype every black man moving forward, saying this is what y'all do, blah blah. And you know what? They was wrong. They was dead wrong. Someone said they go under the prison. The prison underneath the prison, and because she's blonde, they're gonna feed them right to the Nazis.